The principle of non-refoulement says that a country must not return persons to another country where they will face persecution. The applicants in this case were from Sri Lanka and had unsuccessfully claimed to be refugees. They faced deportation. The applicants claimed that deportation would amount to refoulement because, having left Sri Lanka unlawfully, they would be held in prison on remand for up to 2 weeks. Conditions in prison in Sri Lanka would be terrible and amount to torture. The case came down to the meaning of the word intention. The definition of torture requires that it be intentional, but the word intention can be used in 2 ways. If I do something knowing that my actions will produce a particular outcome, you might say that I intend that outcome, even if I don't desire it at all. On the other hand, we could use the word intend only to describe those things that a person wants to bring about. So when an official in Sri Lanka sends someone to prison, do they intend to torture that person in the sense that they know the conditions in prison are terrible? Or do they simply intend to hold the person in custody according to law, and conditions in those prisons are irrelevant to their decision? The majority in the High Court found that the Sri Lankan officials did not intend to torture people they sent to prison, even if they knew that the conditions in prison were awful. Justice Edelman wrote the leading judgment, but on statutory interpretation, the other majority judges said the starting point is the text of the statute, whilst at the same time regard is to be had to its context and purpose. Context should be regarded at this first stage and not at some later stage, and it should be regarded in its widest sense. This is not to deny the importance of the natural and ordinary meaning of a word. Considerations of context and purpose simply recognise that understood in its statutory, historical or other context, some other meaning of a word may be suggested. And so too, if its ordinary meaning is not consistent with the statutory purpose, that meaning must be rejected. From this case, we confirm that when interpreting legislation, courts must, from the outset, consider the context of the words in the statute and the Parliament's purpose in passing them.